This is it, wrestling fans, the show. Coming at you again straight up. I'm Harry Bernard Taylor, accompanied by the one and only Michael King.
The Asian sensation.
And Chris Burton.
The People's Podcaster.
All right, Michael, I'm going to kick it over to you, and I want to hear what's going on with AEW.
All right, AEW, they had a good show. They kicked off with a little MMA light or MMA almost match between Wardlow and Hager. And actually, I'm glad they did it. I'm glad I got to watch it, and I hope they never do it again.
No, I'm the same way.
You know what? Matter of fact, I'll tell you what.
Same way.
I liked it. I liked it because it broke up the monotony. It was something different, man. Because when was the last time you even saw a wrestling company attempt this? WWE with Ken Shamrock and whoever he was wrestling at the time, and the Lions Den match at Madison Square Garden. I think that was actually WrestleMania 10. I believe it was. They actually did that, man. So it's almost been, 30-something years, almost 20, 30-something years since the last time we even seen a company attempt that. I like it. It broke up the monotony. Yeah. I don't care what y'all think.
No, I think, like I said, I'm glad I got to saw it, but I hope they don't do it again. So yes, it did break up the monotony, but a hand grenade can break up some monotony too, and it's not necessarily going to have good results. All right, so I give them props for going out, taking that risk, but it didn't look good. It didn't feel good.
But if you notice, it got over with the fans.
Man, I thought
it got over.
Fans are dumb.
I mean, that's the whole thing about it. Just because something gets over, Chris, doesn't always get over. You know what I'm saying? It's serious business.
How do you get over but don't get over? How does that work, man? That's
man,
like
look,
saying I'm on my way, but I ain't on my way.
It works like this. 5 years from now, they're going to look back at how stupid that was.
Yeah. I mean, if I put somebody up, I put somebody up on stage at church and have them sing, and they're really not a great singer, they're going to get over that first time. Okay? But we're going to leave that church, and we're going to pretty much be saying, wow, I just hope they don't have James up there singing again, man. Because I mean that just didn't. But
you know what, man?
So,
I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Any criticism is good criticism, whether it's good or bad. Because you know what? They did their job because you're gonna be talking about it.
Oh man,
You did, see, but the thing, if you don't talk about it, you didn't do your job. But if you talk about it, good, bad, or otherwise, you did something.
Not really.
So there's good heat. There's good heat and there's bad heat.
Yeah. But hey, good heat or bad heat is better than no heat.
But what about when I decide not to? But what about when that viewer decides to turn it off next time?
That's why.
Because that's what happens. That's what's happening with wrestling now. It's because you got older wrestling fans that's been around for a while. It's saying, hey, we're going to see the same thing we've been seeing within the last year or two. Things that I don't want to see. Garbage. Is they going to throw something in there that's going to shock me, and rehashing some of the same old things. That's one of the risks you take when you do something like this. Not saying that it didn't look good, and it was a lot of action in it. I will say that.
Yeah.
But I thought I was watching MMA. When I turned it on, I'm like, man, this looks like an MMA match, and I knew what it was. But I'm just thinking, as a wrestling fan, if I would have come in, say, 2-3 minutes after that match done started, and I'm not familiar with what was going down, and I'm not familiar with AEW. Say I was a fan, like back in the territory days, when you say you move, if you move from Florida to Tennessee, you're gonna go from Florida Championship Wrestling to the Mid-South. Okay, and you go watch the Mid-South, and you watching Jerry the King Lawler take on name somebody out of Mid-South that he would be taking on.
Tommy Rich.
Yeah, Tommy Rich against Jerry Lawler, and say they had different rules. They was doing something different. Say if they decided to put boxing gloves on, and they was having a boxing match, and this person, and they went on there, and the TV guide, which we used to use back then or whatever, said wrestling. They went on there, they watching wrestling, they thought it was wrestling. They be like, what is this junk? Boom, turn it off. May not turn it back on again, especially if there's a something that's competing against a competing faction or another organization. They can turn on and watch.
I'm glad you brought up the boxing thing because
Yes.
WWE did do a straight up boxing
Oh
thing.
yeah, now that
Oh,
was
my
that
God.
was
And that was ugly.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
oh my
And
gosh.
the person who won was the exact person that they did not want to win. All right. So it
and then had to go up against Butterbean and got knocked
Yeah.
out.
exactly.
Ruined Steve Williams.
So what I saw in this match was I saw an MMA performance that would piss off every person that's a fan of MMA. And I saw a wrestling performance that would piss off every person that's a wrestling fan.
Man,
because it's like when you're in MMA, you expect some realism and legitimacy, and this is how it's going to be performed, right? And then they started doing the wrestling antics that you would never see in a real MMA match, all right? And then as a wrestling fan, you see them trying
I
to...
don't know now because somebody in MMA won a match by the Boston Crab.
I'm not saying that, but you look at that and you... Some of the things you pick the guy up and you throw him down, and then you just walk away and taunt him. It does not happen in MMA. At least if it did, that would be your last match in MMA.
Right. Well, okay. Overall, I'm not gonna say I didn't like it because I did like it. I enjoyed it, but I'm just like Michael. I thought about the impact behind it.
Man, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. It was the best thing since sliced bread.
Man.
I don't care. And by the way,
You need better bread.
and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we are live in Greer, South Carolina at the Lovely's Ollie's Tavern. If you're ever on this side of the world or in this neck of the woods, come by Ollie's Tavern and give them your support.
Yeah,
But
grab a sweet tea.
Like I said, I liked it, man. These jokers here, man. But anyway, Karen.
Man, it was okay. It was okay, and I'm gonna give it. As far as the match go, I'm not gonna look at it as an MMA match. The way they had it set up, I give it a B. But the idea is a D. So I'm gonna give it overall. I'm gonna give it a C.
All right. So I want to touch on something that's involved that we hadn't talked about in regards to this match is the antics after the match.
Oh yeah, now that was that messed everything up to me. Now I will agree, you were about to have some good sportsmanship because Wardlow
Right.
is not a MMA fighter; he's a professional wrestler. Jack Hager is best of both worlds.
The mediocre of both worlds.
But he can walk in both.
Yeah.
He can walk in both lanes.
He can play in two sandboxes.
Yeah. So you were literally about to get some legitimate, okay, you gave it a shot, I respect you and all this. But then you like, okay, here comes the sneak attack and all that.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, everything y'all just did just went down to 2.
Yeah,
everything.
So I'm not sure how to grade this match really because part of me is saying the fact that they took the risk and implemented this idea is fantastic.
Yeah, it was very ballsy. Very ballsy.
And I respect that to no end. The execution might have been fine, but I think there's a chance that this is just not an idea that's going to work because it's a partial of two different things, not a whole of one. So it's never going to have that magic.
Gotcha.
So I think I'm stuck in the C overall for the match itself and the antics afterwards, and not through any fault of theirs. I just think maybe you had to take that chance, see what it looks like, and then make a decision if this needs to be done again.
Okay, I'm gonna give it maybe about I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna give it a solid C.
Okay.
I almost said a C plus.
I can
I
respect
almost
that.
said a C plus. The only thing that stopped me was the antics after it.
Yeah, the antics. I mean, it took away from the match, man. It just
That killed it because if it wasn't for the
yeah, they
antics,
didn't have to-
I would have gave it.
that shouldn't have been-
If it wasn't for the antics, I would at least give it B minus at least.
Yeah, and it touches on the when I was watching it, I did wonder if it was going to be, let's see what two wrestlers could do in an actual MMA thing. And then they just kind of threw the actual MMA thing aside and threw in the wrestling component, and it just really kind of took away. It didn't fulfill that curiosity that I had.
To a degree, you had to, because Wardlaw only has so much he can offer to at least look like an MMA fighter.
Then crush him.
But at the same time, you want to make him look strong. You just don't want to just be like Andre the Giant wrestling baby.
Nobody looked strong in that match.
But you don't want to be like. But you
strong.
said crush him. You don't want to look like Andre the Giant fighting a newborn baby.
Why not? If you're going to have the antics afterwards, that would at least justify 6 people jumping on Hager.
All right, Michael, you gonna have to form something. You got to form some kind of opinion and finish this thing off.
All right.
Because
I don't mind crushing somebody into oblivion.
We see.
All right. I think it builds strength, and sometimes people just need to be buried. This match, I think, by all accounts, was a C. And we probably should go to the next match.
All right. The next match, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky against Darby the Dodo Brain Allen.
Yeah, speaking of being buried.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable, man. The week before, he told Sting, he like, Scorpio Sky was talking to him, and him and Ethan Page, and Scorpio Sky was like, look, man, Darby, you can't do it. He said, you had to go out and get a legend to get this thing done. You had to get Sting. But we don't think you can do it with anybody else. Anybody but Sting. And then Darby Allin had this silly looking look on his face, which I see all the time. Like a little baby or one day. He said, I want to do it.
Wow.
I want to do it. Sting don't show up next week. And Sting was like, what do you mean? You mean to tell me you don't want me to show up? Go ahead, do your little thing, Chris. You good at that. You good at that as far as asking people like they're doing something dumb.
Darby's your guy, right?
Yeah. Go ahead, talk about it. I know you like Darby, man. Come on, man.
Wait a minute. Now just because I met the guy and you know you wouldn't, if you went for his paint, you wouldn't recognize him to Joe Blow off the street. How does he make him my guy? Matter of fact, I heard it. You were trying to scout him for some talent.
Yeah, I passed over him because I didn't find any.
Oh, wow.
Actually, that's a lie. That guy can move in a ring.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got talent. I don't like that he's, a half juggalo and half Seattleite.
Yeah.
And I don't have a lot of goodwill towards people from Seattle to begin with. So, my thoughts was I was hoping Sting would show up.
That's what I was thinking. He gonna just pop up somewhere
and join the other two and just beat the snot out of Darby.
So we're gonna have what has it been like 3 against 1?
Yeah. But as far as the match go, man, Darby, he did a pretty good job, man. He did some reverses and he got out of certain situations and things. So, he had a strong showing. But
They
just
really
at the end, it just.
They really did showcase his abilities.
Yeah. I mean, the guy, like you said, Mike, the guy can go. Mm-hmm. He really can go. He's got talent. He's got charisma. Even though he has a funny way of showing his charisma, but he has it. But yeah, I mean, the match was what we thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, but somebody needed the guy needs to smarten up. Somebody need to go and he did what he should have done. Go ahead, Mike.
My hope is that they're steering him in a direction with this.
Right.
That's my hope, and maybe they're doing a poor job of having him replace Sting because Sting did that moping. He turned into the Crow, right?
Yeah.
So are they going to pound him and get him into that goth kind of a feel and replace the Sting character? I hope not, because the Sting character is Batman, not Robin. Sting is Batman, Darby is Robin.
Yeah. Yes, Sting speaking of, that's one thing I was thinking about when I was watching Darby when he was in the ring. He telling Sting not to show up, and he had that look on his face. He had the same look on his face when the Horseman jumped Sting. And I remember I liked Sting back then, but I didn't actually like him in the Four Horsemen. I didn't think he should have been a Horseman, but I was a fan of Sting. But when he when he came out there with them, man, and then Ole said, "You gonna give up that title shot? You gonna go to Jim Ross? You go to Jim Hurd or whoever you have to go to, and you gonna give up that title shot? You go, and you're not a Horseman no more and stuff like that." Sting said, "Oh man, that's not fair, man." And he had this look on his face. I'm like, that was the first time I said, "Go ahead and jump him." I wanted him to jump him. I said, "Get him." I said, "Y'all need to get him," because he just acting like a little baby, man. And Darby Allin reminded me so much of that when he's up there like crying in the ring. I would have just told him, no flipping way. I was told, he should have said, Scorpio Sky, Sting's going to be in this match. You either take it or leave it. And he said, "We're going to beat you down." He won't.
Very little tolerance and patience for a beta male.
Yes.
And Darby is presenting as a beta male. And quite honestly...
You sure? I think he's more of a Charlie. You're giving him too much credit.
My instinct that I have to control myself with when I see a beta male is I want to pound him into oblivion so that he can't reproduce and produce more beta males.
Yikes!
And I can, maybe after this podcast I'll tell you a story about a beta male and a couple of alpha males and the beta male's girlfriend. All right.
Let me guess. The guy was in the Navy and was fighting some Marines.
No, actually, at the time we were all in the Navy, except we were in the brig.
Okay,
We're fresh out of the brig and out processing that type of thing, but.
I was about to say, this about to go down south.
It's not a PG story.
Yeah, I was about to say, when you said the brig, I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, but overall, the match, I will give it I'm gonna give it a C plus. I was about to give it a B, but I'm gonna give it a C plus. Like I say, they did showcase what Darby could do. And Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, they kept doing basically the same things. But overall, Darby actually made the match a B, but the only reason I drop it down to C plus is because of what they was doing.
I blame the promoters and script writers on that one. I'll go B minus C plus. Darby did carry it, but they didn't have to make the other two look as weak as they did.
Right. They did.
And so it's like the women empowerment movies. All right. I have no problem with women empowerment movies as long as they empower women. But if they keep women the same and just make guys look stupid, you're not empowering anybody. And I felt like this match was, empowering Darby by simply making the other guys look bad.
Yeah. So what would you give the match?
Probably a C plus, B minus. Darby really carried. It really showcased him, and I'm pretty confident that was the intent, was to give Darby the showcase.
Yeah.
And he did his job. He did his job well. So I can't fault the participants. I have to fault the script writers.
Yeah. The booking and all that. Yeah. I'll give it a C.
Okay.
I'm just gonna leave it at that and give it a strong C and just leave it at that.
All right. All right.
And by the way, while we're on the subject of AEW, if you haven't heard, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Cody and Brandy Rhodes. They had their birth of their firstborn daughter.
Congratulations.
Her name is Liberty Iris Runnels, and she was born on Friday, 6 pounds, 12 ounces.
Awesome.
And Brandy and the baby are doing wonderful.
That's great.
Congratulations.
What do you think? Going to call her Sweet Dreams when she gets older?
Ooh, that would be catchy.
Right, definitely.
Catchy.
Okay, we're gonna roll over into we're gonna roll out of AEW, and we're gonna talk about that more on our Tuesday podcast, and hopefully we'll have that up sometime Tuesday night or early Wednesday. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk a little bit about Ring of Honor and
ROH.
Yeah, and this is something that I actually haven't been watching. I haven't watched for a long time.
Yeah,
So
you and me both.
yeah, but
Yeah, probably since AJ Styles.
yes,
I would probably have to go back to not quite AJ, but jeez,
Pretty darn close.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the first match I want to talk about is I think this was the first match actually. Bandito versus Bateman. Do you have any? Do you know these two wrestlers, Chris?
Honestly, I don't, because what the part I caught, and I'm just gonna be honest with you, because this is straight up wrestling. We tell it how it is. We don't hold no punches, right, fellas?
That's
right.
We don't hold no punches.
I might even give an extra just for fun.
There you go. Especially when the referee look. They had some kind of tournament going on.
Yes.
The what was it? Best of the rest or something of that nature.
Well, that's actually the pay-per-view that's coming up.
Yeah.
But I think this tournament is for the world title, something like that.
Yeah, or be the number one contender or something. And
that Bandito versus Bateman match was one of the matches during this tournament.
And I caught some of the later matches in it. I caught the what was it, triple threat.
Yeah.
For the I think TV title.
TV title.
Yeah.
World TV title.
And, but yeah,
So
but
here's
to me,
go ahead.
the action's good. But what kills it for me, man, they can at least pipe in some fan sounds.
Yeah, they don't have nothing. It's dead.
And it's just hard to.
Right.
You want to watch it, you want to follow it, but you be like, y'all can at least pipe in some crowd noise or something. WWE did it. Why y'all can't do
Right.
it?
Well, yeah, but we're going to talk about them because, like I say, they're still considered a major, and
Yeah, they are.
and
They
their
are.
podcasts throughout. I mean, they're not podcasts. They are syndicated all the way through the country on different stations. So people around the nation can catch them, not just on YouTube or somewhere on the internet.
Yeah. Actual TV.
Yeah, actual TV. You can get these people around the country.
They're a major trying to become NWA. So, Ring of Honor is a major trying to become an NWA, which is a level below. And I think NWA is trying to become like the Ring of Honor level above. So
Why would you? Okay, not to cut you off, Mike. Now, I know the logic of thinking in some instances. You got to take a step back to take a step forward. I get it. But if you're a major, why are you really trying to go back?
because they're not doing it intentionally, it's just what they're doing. All right, it's like you think you're doing the right thing, making the right choices, but you're so focused on maybe some of the risk management tools. Business, all right? So businesses, when they are looking at losses and that kind of stuff, they just start laying off. We're going to cut this. We're going to shut down Toledo, you know?
Right.
And now they have less business, but they're looking at, we have less costs, but they forget that they have less business.
Yes,
all right?
yes.
And so you have one group that's saying, okay, so what we need to do is we need to expand. We need to go to these areas that we're not. And I think Ring of Honor is stuck in the, okay, so we're in trouble. We need to cut Toledo. We need to cut this.
Right.
And now they're actually losing ground and falling into a glorified NWA platform just based on their actions. I don't think they're making a deliberate decision saying, hey, let's be lesser. I think their actions is leading them to that. And that's what I mean by that's what they're doing.
So basically the higher ups are screwing themselves.
But the pandemic hurt them really bad. Really bad. I think it hurt them worse than any of the other majors. The pandemic has really put a hurting on them. So
Back to, I guess, the
match.
the Ring of Honor's whole. I think, to be fair, I think we should act like new fans for Ring of Honor. All right,
that's pretty much what we are. Straight up, you know,
straight up new fans. This is the first time we watched. What do we think of the first time ever watching this? What do we think? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So that first match, Bandito versus Bateman. Honestly, the first thing that I thought of when I saw that match was Bateman was like a white big cat Ernie the Lad.
Big Cat Ernie Ladd.
Okay.
He does have some of the same characteristics as far as the way he moves, and he carries himself in the ring, and especially like when he anytime people move like Bandito or towards the ropes or whatever, some of the things that Ernie Ladd would do, he basically mimicked that. So yeah, I agree. He does remind me of a big cat, Ernie Ladd.
Bandito is, I think, an excellent performer from what I saw
he
for
is.
the first. So
Yeah.
watching that,
Yes, he is.
watching these two people for the first time. Bandito is, to me, like a new character that I need to get used to, and Bateman is a throwback to something that I'm familiar with.
Yep.
But in the end, I don't know or understand the story that was told.
Right. When
Yeah.
Bandito,
Unless you've just been following them
Right.
like that. But like I said, without some kind of, me personally, like I said, without that crowd sound, I just can't do it.
Fans are important.
Yes,
Yes.
that's true. But
That's just my personal opinion.
I had to get past that. As far as the fans, I like to, I had to get past that, and as a wrestling fan, do it because that's what I am, man. So but Bandito, man, he has speed, power, and skill, man. He's very impressive, I have to say. And power, man. One thing I like about one thing I like about Ring of Honor. They have really good announcers. They break down the matches perfect, man, as far as every move and all that. So Bandito, man, like I said, he was very impressive. And you remember that slam he put on Bateman? I mean, Bandito was 5'7", 182 pounds. That's what they got him listed. Man, he threw Bateman to the ropes, and Bateman come off, man, and he grabbed him and he picked him up and like saying and pressed him over his head and power slammed him, man.
That was surprising.
Yeah, it was surprising. It was surprising. I was very shocked, and some of the other things that he did was very impressive.
Right.
So
I want to watch him a little bit more.
Yes.
And I'm going to throw it to a different promotion real quick, but his strength. I don't look at him as a strong guy, but he did that, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so now I have to raise an eyebrow. And then I start thinking about the strongest man in wrestling, Mark Henry. No, I think it's Cesaro. All right? So Cesaro is strong in every single part of his body.
Yeah.
Right.
And so now I'm thinking, okay, Cesaro is very underutilized. I'm curious what Ring of Honor does. And now they got this little guy showing Cesaro's strength.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious of what they're going to do with that.
right,
And you know what's so funny? I'm glad you brought up that little guy's strength, because if you take it even to WWE, the Viking Raiders tag team, the big guy, I don't know if it's Ivor or Ivan or whichever one of them is.
They're all named the same, Ivor something.
Yeah. So you look at the tag team, the big guy,
right.
he's a high flyer. I mean, I'm talking about like almost 300 plus pounds.
Wow,
coming off
man.
top rope,
Wow.
doing frog splashes, backflips, and cartwheels and stuff like that. And then you got to do his partner, maybe about 250 something. Skinny compared to his partner.
Right.
He's the powerhouse.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, he's up there like benching everybody and doing all the I could basically say Road Warrior type power moves.
Okay.
Okay. So
It's amazing you be 250 and the little guy.
Okay. Let's.
yeah.
All right, Bandito pulled out the match. Incredible move to finish it off. What kind of like?
So
some kind of
I have to be
roll-up?
generous on the grading of this.
Okay.
All right. Because I'm looking at it like I've never watched it before, so I don't have the benefit of history and previous storyline and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be a little bit more forgiving and just kind of look at the abilities. And so I'm going to give that a B.
Yeah, that
And his finisher was like that, almost like a slingshot roll up German.
Yes, yeah, it was
That
nice,
was-
man.
that was
That was nice.
nice.
I was like, whoa, man.
Because I was looking,
I was impressed.
I was like, okay, I'm like, wait a minute, is he just gonna do a roll up into an arch and just going to? But no, he basically flipped over, hit the rope, slingshot himself back onto his feet, deadlifted my man, and then German and arched it. And I was like, nice.
Yes, and then Bateman, his faction came out.
and basically beat him down.
yeah, and like say, you know, and I'm like,
I remember when that used to be called Raven.
and then it,
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
and man, it looked like, you know, they look like something out of a Stephen King movie.
And
They
then,
come out there, man, and I was just like,
and then it
whoa.
was so crazy. It wasn't even the guys. It was the girl that got him.
Yes,
Right, and that was
Yo.
that was nice. But I have a problem with
A
it.
little
right.
emasculating.
But I think that's it. I think that's intentional. All right.
yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
But you know what? I can whoop a lot of ass if they're not allowed to hit me.
Right, that's true. That's true.
This is true.
I will
That's
beat
true.
Andre the Giant's ass if he's not allowed to hit me.
Well, I think that was his punishment.
Right, exactly.
As far
Because he
as
didn't
losing the
open
match,
up his
yeah.
arms and
Right.
take it.
Yeah.
And then and this big guy, man, that's in the righteous took him, and what was that move at the end of
It's
it?
like a sidewalk slam or something.
Yeah, he did that
Yeah.
sidewalk slam. He put him in a camel clutch like type
Yeah.
from Sergeant Slaughter. What Sergeant Slaughter used to do. Put him in like a camel clutch
And spun him around.
Yeah, and remember the lick? He started licking him like Tyson Fury did Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
And then he picked him, spun him around with that sidewalk slam. That slam, man. What was called?
I call it a sidewalk slam.
Side-
The one man
yeah,
king, I
sidewalk
think we
slam,
should
man.
do
It
that.
was
Yeah.
it was unbelievable, man. So that was really impressive, you know. So all right, we're gonna move on to that Dan Houston's interview. And he talking about the match.
Dan Housen.
Danhausen. Have you seen him before?
I've never seen him before.
Okay.
It's crazy because when I look at him, I see Darby Allin, but German.
Right.
German Allen.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I picture him, man, because he's got this German like accent, but he's like real geeky, and then he tries to be funny and psychotic all at the same time in a quick blink of the eye.
Right, yeah,
And I'm
he-
like, no.
And he's talking about the
That's
match, promoting, I think him and, what was the guy's name? Red Titus coming
Red
up.
Titus, yeah.
Got a battle coming up
Yeah.
June the 22nd in a few more days.
And then how he basically has lost every match up until then.
Right, and Red
with
Titus, Red Titus is a good wrestler. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen him wrestle before. He's very technically sound. But one thing about what's Dan's last name?
Danhausen.
Danhausen, yeah. Like man, his interview was dark. You know, and like I say, he's a weird dude, man. But you know.
Very.
But seems to be pretty talented from the little bit that I saw him. I looked him up on, you know, and saw a few matches that he's done. He seemed to be pretty talented. But like I said, that Red Titus guy's he's something special, man.
Oh,
When-
yeah.
But man, oh yeah, and when I was talking to you earlier, Michael, we was talking about what was I talking about? You know, he reminded me of the guy come out of Lethal Weapon.
Oh,
we was
yeah,
thinking
like
it was
Mel Gibson?
No,
No,
Joe
no.
Pesci. Joe Pesci. Leo Getz. I was thinking, you know, he sounded like Leo Getz, but it's not him. It's Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he sound
The
like him.
parrot
a
from
little bit.
Atlanta.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, that's who the voice would sound like. Yeah, you know, I was like, man, what is up with this guy, man? All right, let's go to the next match, man. The Briscoe brothers against EC3 and Flip Gordon.
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
All right.
So EC3 was in WWE. Mm-hmm. All right. So here's my history with EC3. He showed up in WWE, and I said,
After being at TNA.
yeah, I saw him at WWE, and I said, oh, I know this guy. I remember when he used to be called Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah.
All right.
That's who that is?
No.
Okay.
But
You're
then,
gonna say,
but then
man.
they,
I didn't think
but then
so.
they moved on from EC3 and they brought in Andrade. And I was like, oh, I remember this guy. He used to be called EC3.
You had them all mixed up.
No. Because all it was is they said, hey, we have this tall Hispanic dude, so we're going to make them all Alberto Del Rio, who was over. All right. So they made them all Alberto Del Rio. The same gimmick, the same body style, the same matches.
But they can
everything.
stay out of jail, though.
They can stay out of jail. You know,
Yeah,
they're just not trying hard
there.
enough.
I went there.
Okay, so the Briscoes won the match, right?
Yeah.
The Briscoes won the match. Hit I think which one of them was it Flip or EC3 got hit with the chain? One of the Briscoe brothers hit him with the chain.
Now, this is something I want to ask. Not to cut you off.
Hold
Eric,
up, man.
but
Go ahead.
This is something I want to ask my fans. Ask our fans. Are the Briscoes any kin to Jack and Jerry?
I hope not, man. I was wondering
they better be because you don't use that name
Or unless
Right.
they paid a lot of money to use it.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
but if
think
they
are,
did,
man.
they better be claiming it.
Right.
All right. Don't use that name nonchalantly is what I'm saying. You know, if I came out there as, you know, Tony Fuji, bastard son, you know, of Mr. Fuji, I'm either going to milk that for all it's worth, and I'm going to get permission from the Fuji family, right?
Yeah.
So you don't take up the name of Flair and just ignore it. You can't. You know? Briscoe is too famous of a name. My name is Michael Funk, and I'm not going to address anything about that last name. You can't do that.
Yeah, but I've always wondered about that. And any of our fans, if y'all know anything about that, please let us know.
No doubt.
Because I was like, I wonder if they're any kin to Jack.
They used to be called the Midnight Outlaws. But man,
It's like a cross between the Midnight Express and Ron Bass.
I do not think.
For real. Well, they almost look like something Ron Bass would put out.
But man, I really don't think they have any relation with Jack and Jerry Briscoe. And when I first heard of these guys 3-4 years ago, I was wondering did they have any relation to them. But I really don't think they do. And if they just chose that name because, like, say, Jack and Jerry Briscoe, such a famous name, man. Yeah, I'm like, come on, guys, be real about it.
But if they did, let's say, ask permission and possibly grease their pocket, okay, so be it.
Yeah, I don't mind.
So be it.
But then, you know what?
But then
Make it part of your gimmick.
Yes.
Exactly, because what their gimmick now compared to what we know as the Briscoe name is so night and day.
Oh yes.
So night and day. And I'm just like, okay, but they might put a little twist on it. Okay, whatever works. But back to the match. I just need to know that. So if anybody sees this, comment, let us know.
Okay. And which one of them got knocked out? EC3 or was it Flip Gordon? Got hit with the chain. And he lost, and then I think it was and one of the guys, Flip. I think Flip was blaming EC3. No, EC3 was blaming Flip. Flip got hit. EC3 was blaming him for the loss, and then they got into an argument. And then Paul Ellering, I'm pretty sure it was Paul Ellering, came in and said, "You guys still haven't figured this out." Now Paul Ellering is still active right now as far as in wrestling, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Because his daughter's in NXT.
Yeah, he is.
So maybe it wasn't Paul. Because if daughter's at NXT, maybe he's at NXT. But
no,
as a
sure,
guy
I
that
thought-
looked uncommonly like
he
Paul
looked just like him. The guy come out and say, "You guys haven't figured this out. We're gonna go to the
Ellering's
field."
still active, he's got to. I'm sure he's backstage off camera.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, he said we're gonna take this to the field.
Oh wow.
So
But he's managing, kind of. So he's a little bit on camera stuff.
so we're not sure, ladies and gentlemen. We're not sure if that was Paul Ellering or not. If y'all know, if any of you know, could you comment or whatever?
Please inform
let us know
us.
because we're not sure. We're not
Again,
sure.
remember, this is like, for us, we're calling it Day 1 Ring of Honor. We're treating it like it's a brand new program.
Right.
First time watching.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Overall, what you give that match?
C+.
C plus. I see.
If I saw it from where y'all describing it and I can picture it in my mind's eye, I would go with a C.
Yeah. It just. And I mean, I don't. They didn't. It wasn't. They didn't show the full match.
I've seen the Briscoes work before in matches previous. I've seen them work, and they can have some decent matches.
Right.
But I'm just not a big fan of the Briscoes. But hey,
I'm
whatever.
not a fan of EC3. I'll try to keep an open mind. I just know the history. They just historically tried to mold him into this other thing. So I just need to keep an open mind and see what he is now. But it doesn't seem too different. He should have ditched that name and come up with something different.
Okay. I want to talk about these ratings. Man, they showing they showing these guys rankings like boxing. Ring of Honor is doing this. AEW is doing this. I don't know which one of them started it first, but I don't like it. I mean,
AEW.
yeah,
I
I'm
want to say I may be wrong.
I was disappointed when I saw Ring of Honor was doing it because I thought I was thinking it was copying AEW, and I didn't like that. So I'm wondering, who started it first, because this follow the leader concept is, it's awful if you ask me, and I'm tired of watching these organizations follow each other.
Yeah, but if something's over, it's going to get copied.
Exactly.
Well, there's nothing wrong with copying, but I'm talking about copying the complete concept of, there's so many concepts in wrestling now that's being copied. Man, it's getting a little ridiculous. You look at, like, if I look at AEW, and like I look at AEW, I look at Ring of Honor, and in your organization, APW, I'm looking at the same thing. I go to APW, the same thing. When y'all have somebody come out there to interrupt the match, what happens? You bring the music, okay? Mm-hmm. You come out there, you do the same thing that they're doing on AEW. You're doing the same thing that they're doing on Ring of Honor. Who else doing this? WWE. Everybody's doing that. Why keep following the leader? Be yourself. Dare to be different. Dare to be great. Mm-hmm. Come up with something. And see, a lot of these organizations, every time these new wrestling organizations come around, what do they say? They all say, we want to be like WCW. We want to be what WCW was. And they're not wanting to be.
Who said that?
Every time a new organization come up, they always compare it to WCW. Impact, when they came out, TNA first came out, they were saying they're going to be like, they want to be what WCW was. They want to take that spot. AEW was saying that same thing. We're going to do some of the things they wanted to get those fans.
Oh, wow.
And Ring of Honor never said they was going to do that, but Ring of Honor was going that way. Huh. But the thing about it, what they're doing, what I see these new wrestling organizations doing, they're picking up from where WCW changed and became more like the WWF. When Hogan came, when Randy Savage came, when who was more cast-offs from the WWF? I'm not talking.
And all that.
Yeah, right. Nash and Hall. Nash and Hall was in WCW first. They was like saying,
so was Steve Austin.
I know.
Nobody really cares.
I know nobody really cares. But I'm just saying, I don't really look at those two like they was an invasion, and they brought But to me, Razor Ramon was stolen from the what was he before that? The Diamond
Stud.
The Diamond Stud. They just repackaged him as Razor Ramon and gave him an accent. That's who he was. Right. It was the same thing as the Diamond Stud. And Diesel,
it was nothing like us.
No, it wasn't like us. But what Kevin Nash was a lot of different things in WCW before he went up there.
I just remember Oz.
No, he was no man. He was Oz.
Oh yeah, Oz and DDP's bodyguard.
Yeah. But so I didn't really, when they came in, man. To me, what actually happened is Vince McMahon took them and made them big stars. That's all it is to it. He made them big stars. Scott Hall never got over wherever he was at. When he was in AWA, he never got over. When he was in Mid-Atlantic territory, he never got over. He always was at the cusp, always about to get over, but never did. So, but let's go. Tell you the truth. Okay, yeah, they did come. They were a part of that WWF little thing, but the change when WCW started changing, when he like you said, when NWO formed, they made everybody else in WCW flunkies. They made them look like flunkies.
But here's why everybody wants to go back to WCW, okay? Because when the NWO first formed, they became it.
Yes,
they took over. They were putting WWE out of business, beating him in the rankings,
right.
And everybody wants to capture. Everybody knows what went wrong.
Everybody wants that line in the bottom.
So everybody wants to go back to what WCW could have been before they let everybody into the NWO. Right, so they're trying to get back to that peak and do it right.
Right.
You can only catch lightning in the bottle one time.
Right,
Okay.
and what they're trying to do is throw out 1,000 bottles and see if they can catch lightning in a
Okay.
different bottle.
Basically.
All right,
and
man.
it hasn't happened.
No,
But see, this is the thing about me is, I mean, the world remembers innovators and they forget the imitators. WCW was great, and it wasn't because of the WWF's cast-offs. It was because of the legacy of Ric Flair, Sting, Dusty Rhodes, Arn Anderson, Lex Luger, J.J. Dillon, the Steiner Brothers, Nikita Koloff, David Crockett, Tony Schiavone, the Rock and Roll Express and Midnight Express, Doom, Ricky Steamboat, Bob Caudle, and many more who came out of Jim Crockett Promotions. That thing was built on solid ground way before Eric Bischoff took Ted Turner's money and blew it up into another atmosphere.
But you know what? But when the money came in, that legacy's out the window
Man,
unless
listen.
you are hardcore.
The money was already there. That's what I'm saying. Ted Turner already bought WCW, but nobody had the smarts to go to Ted. And I always was wondering this back when they bought it. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be great because now they have the resources to go after the WWE, the WWF, if somebody was smart enough to go up and say,
and that's
Ted, we
why
need that
Eric
money.
Bischoff
Eric
is a
did it.
genius.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's why I
he's a
love
genius.
Eric Bischoff.
Oh, gosh,
all right?
man.
That's why I love Eric Bischoff. Because you know what? Everybody.
We going back to this.
Everybody is their own worst enemy. You create your own obstacles. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. You know what? Sometimes it's as easy as just getting on the phone and saying, "Hey, this is what I want to do," and there it is. But you create these obstacles that prevent you from ever making that phone call.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
And look
It
at
is.
WCW. They burn it.
Yeah, exactly.
They burn it.
Exactly. Eric Bischoff built it, but he quickly burned it down.
Absolutely.
He burned it down, man. And I'm just in, and
Yep, and just
But you know what?
matter of
Here's-
fact,
here's-
I'll take it
say
even
it.
further. I'll take it even further. World War II. Look at Germany. One of the most powerful nations in the world at the
Right.
time, World War II. Hitler had everything on lock, but guess what? Hitler also screwed it all up.
You know what? If it's your house, you're allowed to burn it. All right. So I'll go back to the Russians.
but it wasn't his house. That's the whole thing about it.
It was Eric Bischoff's house.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. He was a man who got power, and just like Ric Flair said all the time, Ric Flair, remember it was in Greenville? Man, oh gosh, Michael, if you would have been there, man, that is the loudest I ever heard of an arena in my life. Flair came out there, man. Flair was talking about, the abuse of power and all that stuff. He's exactly right. Bischoff, Bischoff did a great thing, man. I'm not saying Bischoff is a great man. What he done was awesome, but man, to come in and he disrespected millions of fans. Let's say, okay, let's take that 7 million to 8 million that they were getting at WCW was getting at the top of their game. How many of those fans you actually think were WCW fans before Hulk Hogan got there? How many do you actually think that they was getting on that Saturday night on TBS?
Nowhere near when Hogan got there.
No. Hogan he brought some fans, the Northeastern fans.
Exactly.
But how many?
And that's a lot of fans.
He probably brought 3 million fans to watch WCW because what's the name went down from doing 8-9 million, they went down to doing 6 million, then they went down to doing 4 million. So he brought about 3 million fans, 3 to 4 million fans. I say 3 million fans. And then when Savage came and all the rest of them, Hall and Nash, he probably brought another 1.5 million fans. But the majority of fans, because what's the name? Just like I was telling you earlier, Mid-South, Jim Cornette, they was reaching over 3 million fans. Mm-hmm. When WCW was going and when they bought Mid-South, which was the UWF and all that, they was reaching, on a Saturday night, they was reaching 5.3 million fans. This is before Hogan, Nash, Savage, any of them. So over 5 to 6 million of those fans that was watching, they was actual fans that grew up on NWA, Jim Crockett Promotions, grew up on Georgia Championship Wrestling, watching Florida Championship Wrestling, Mid-South. Those fans Because remember, when he bought, you remember with Jim Crockett, what he did? Remember when he went and bought UWF?
Yeah.
He got a couple million fans right there. He bought the Florida area, which had like 1 million fans. He bought the Georgia area, had a couple million fans. He had at least 5-6 million people that was already watching. And then when they came, those fans, because all them things that you always send me and stuff like join this wrestling group, join that wrestling group, and they have all these old pictures and stuff like that. These fans, I don't know, I read a lot of these fans' thoughts and all that, and they dog Eric Bischoff out, and they say he brought in that cartoon stuff, which we didn't want to watch. If we wanted to watch it, we would have been watching it. And see, the whole thing about you,
They're wrong.
huh?
They're wrong.
No, why in the world you say they're wrong?
Because Eric Bischoff did not bring in cartoon stuff. WWE had cartoon
stuff. He didn't bring in cartoon stuff. It got crazy after a while.
Oh, it got crazy.
It got crazy.
It got crazy.
I agree
It got
with that.
crazy. But the thing about it is this. I mean, they started doing a lot of things that WWE was doing. And I ain't going to say he really brought, to tell you the truth, they really didn't. It's just that he brought them in and they started beating up everybody in the WCW, which looked bad. And it just, but man, you have to say there was a lot of crazy stuff that went on.
So I'll put it this way. Viewership was never higher than during the Attitude Era.
No.
The Attitude Era does not happen without Eric Bischoff.
Okay,
This is
okay,
true.
and that's
I
true.
agree.
That's
I
true.
agree.
The
I agree.
attitude, but see, that's the thing about it is when Bischoff started bringing it, grabbed all the stars from the WWE, and they really didn't have stars. What did they do? They went back to real wrestling. They went to the Attitude Era, and they started doing it. It was just real as it could be. And man, what happened? Their numbers shot up. A lot of people went from they got their fan base back, and they got a lot of people from WCW went over and started watching that. So man, I don't know.
Vince McMahon had no time, energy for the likes of Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Chris Jericho. It was WCW that was giving those people, the cruiserweights, some spotlight, and they got over, and then they got too over, and then they started collapsing, and then Vince McMahon bought WCW, and then he ruined the hell out of the cruiserweights.
Yeah. But I don't know, man.
So I think WCW at its peak is what everybody's trying to capture because they saw what could have been that got ruined, and they want to take that what could have been and make it what it should have been.
That's right. But the only thing I'm saying is, like, you know, to get to that point, man, you got to have a foundation. You got to have a foundation. You got to have something that's built on solid rock to get to, because WCW wouldn't have never got there if they didn't have what they already had.
Oh, absolutely. They had a good foundation.
Right. It's because I mean, you know, they was real strong, man. I mean, even though of course they wasn't what WWF was, which nobody was, because you couldn't be that because WWF is based in New York, and that media machine is up there.
Nobody besides Eric Bischoff went up to Ted Turner and say,
That's
"Give
right.
me $100 million."
I understand that.
All right, and that's why I'm saying Eric Bischoff had the sack to do it. All right, so and that's why I'm saying is like people often put up their own obstacles. I can't do this, but they never made the phone call.
Yeah,
they just decided they couldn't, so they didn't make the phone call.
But the whole thing about it is this, you know, let's say me, you, and us three, we got $100 million, okay, and somebody come to us and say, look, man, Greenville is growing, they're growing. Greenville needs a basketball team. I want to bring an NBA team in here and call them the Greenville Spinners, which we had a little minor league team called the Greenville Spinners or something like that, or Greenville Cougars. I mean, Greenville, you know, Carolina, or the Carolina something. But put a team in Greenville, and then, man, they get out there, and, man, and you know, they building super teams now, and he has a lot of money at his disposal. You know, well, actually, we have more than $100 million. We're billionaires. Yeah. We give and we say it's okay, go over salary cap because we'll pay the NBA tax because they have a specialty tax in the NBA or whatever that you have to pay if you go over. And then, man, he started getting all the stars. He go out and get Kevin Durant, he gets Steph Curry on the team, and you know he get Kyrie Irving and you know another superstar, man.
Yeah.
Get Anthony Davis on the team, man, and they just start beating everybody, man. They win 2, 3 championships, and we love that team. And then next thing you know, I mean, this GM started doing some dumb things. He started making some trades. He's like, I want to cut here, I want to cut there, because we have, say, us three, we decide, hey, man, we want to make a little bit more money, and we sell off to stakeholder. We sell off some. We sell off some
shares.
We sell off shares. We sell off 40% of our shares, and then we decide, hey, let's sell off a little bit more, man, because we want to put some other things in our other business, because we're entrepreneurs, we're doing things like that. But we'll sell out a little bit more, and we're gonna keep 40% of it. So 60% is owned by these stakeholders, and they want more and more, and then our GM come in and say, okay, we're going to cut some of these players. We're going to trade some of these players, and they're going to get some lower tier players. We don't won 3 world championships. And then we start losing. We go from, because it's 82 game season, we go from being winning 63-19 to 24-62. We start losing year after year after year. 6, 7 years, we're on a losing streak. And we start losing our fans in Greenville. And then, like I say, Greenville only got, it's got 500-some thousand people, and then you got the outskirts. Okay? 1.6 million people in the metropolitan area. People stop coming to the games, and then we're losing money. We want to unload this thing. Our stockholders not really getting paid, so we unload the thing, and we sell it to Richmond, Virginia. Somebody down in Richmond, Virginia. We made our money.
Yeah.
But the fans in Greenville pissed off about it. So, and that's what we got going on. Yeah. And it's just like in Seattle. Those people in Seattle, they won't watch the NBA game no more because they lost the Supersonics. Pissed off about it. Most of them, I never watch a game again until we get a franchise in Seattle. That's what's happening in wrestling. And
you know what? The NBA doesn't care.
Yeah.
They're not missing a beat.
Right. No, they're not. But the whole thing about it is, wrestling is. We could sit there and look at AEW and say, okay, because Tony, what is his name?
So we're running into a whole different discussion when you talk about this.
Yeah, right.
You start talking about saturation. You start talking about conglomeration, and it's. That's another program all by itself.
I don't want to get too. Don't get too deep into that, but let's go ahead and finish off, man, with this. On this Ring of Honor, let's finish off with this Dragon Lee versus Tracy Williams and Tony. Was it Deppen? Deppen? It was Deppen. Deppen. Yeah.
I've seen Dragon Lee, man.
World Television Champion.
He can go. I've seen
he
him
can go back to Mexico. So.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's one thing, man.
This is what I think. I think Sheamus should change his name to Miguel De La Rosa.
Whoa. Boy,
all right. If this guy is going to call himself Dragon Lee, then Sheamus should be Miguel De La Rosa.
Yeah, because man, come on now, Chris. You know why we on this thing? Why this guy calling himself Dragon Lee?
Yeah,
he's talented, man.
I'm talking about some brown washing going on right here.
Man, hey, look, man, hey, ain't nothing wrong with some brown rice every now and then.
Man, I didn't expect this guy. I didn't expect
brown rice should be called Mexican rice. It should not be called fried rice.
I didn't expect this guy, man, to start speaking Spanish, man. They did Dragon Lee to come to him. Dragon Lee. And even the background, man, had me thinking that it was an Asian wrestler.
So maybe there's some excuse for it. I don't know. Maybe. So if you guys know why this guy is calling himself Dragon Lee, because Dragon Lee is a Japanese wrestler, period. Right? Asian wrestler, not a luchador. So I need to know the story because I hate me some Dragon Lee right now.
But I'm just going to talk about his in-ring ability. Because I've seen the guy in New Japan, and Lord have mercy. If you look up some of his matches in New Japan, I forgot, it's on Roku. If you have Roku, look it up, fans. So it was basically a chop match, and it was.
Let me ask you, since you watched him in New Japan, you're a New Japan guy, all right? Did he speak Spanish in New Japan?
No, he spoke English.
He spoke English in New Japan.
Yes.
All right. So he's speaking now that he's American, he's speaking Spanish. So is he going to Germany? He's going to speak Russian?
I have no idea. I don't know.
So right now, I'd like to just kind of see like Darby Allin and Dragon Lee just have a head-on collision right there in their automobiles. Just gone. Don't have to deal with them anymore.
Man, you are so harsh, man. You know. Hey, waitress, no more for this guy.
Okay.
He's done.
Do you know anything about this Tracy Williams and Tony Deppen? Do you know anything about them?
All I know, one of them had on a shoulder bracelet, like he had on some shoulder pads or something. And
Now,
like
Tony Deppen is the champ, right? Yeah, he was the guy who was the champ.
yeah, because Dragon Lee had it when I saw him in Japan.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
Dragon.
complaining that he'd never lost the belt.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have the belt, so you evidently lost it. So
Yeah, something went wrong. Something went wrong somewhere.
Dragon Lee definitely was the most talented guy in the match.
Hands down.
He's built. He has a good build. Man, he has great ring ability. His ring generalship is really good.
Yeah.
So I can't take that away from him, man. But like I say, it's just the Dragon Lee thing.
yeah, stop
But,
Asian hate. Come on now.
But yeah, that Tracy Williams, man, and Tony Deppen, they was pretty much setting it up for Dragon Lee to win the match. To tell you the truth. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Anthony, sir.
Yes. I mean, they were setting it up for him to win the match, but he didn't actually take advantage of it and finish it.
No, he didn't. He
But
didn't.
and Tony Deppen actually won the match, so I think they're setting it up where Dragon Lee can get the title back from him, maybe, or they're gonna go on a major feud if they're not already on it. So, but I want to ask y'all anyway. What do y'all think about these? What do y'all think about these multiple people going for titles? I mean, having 3, 4, 5 guys in the ring going for a title. What do y'all think about that?
I
Better
think
opportunities for those that ain't gonna get the end.
I mean, do y'all like that? Do you like that type of? Do you like that type of match?
I just think it's like a creativity on the booker's parts, and I think there's pressure.
So
When you have a lot of promotions, you're trying to like keep wrestlers, and then keep wrestlers, you got to like give them story and opportunity and that kind of stuff. And everybody wants the spotlight, and we're getting more selfish with every generation.
yeah.
So now you have to like
I
put
believe
everybody.
I said that in an earlier podcast. I believe.
Probably. So
Yeah, but yeah, it's basically like you said, Michael. It's the pencil not having a sharp point, running out of ideas, and you basically trying to give somebody a little bit of oomph that more than likely wouldn't be able to get it any other time.
I don't know, man. I think it reeks of desperation, to tell you the truth. When you have those type of matches, regular matches with people facing each other, they facing each other one-on-one or like having the tag teams or whatever. They were successful for 80 years. So, man, I don't know.
I understand that, with each generation, you need to have a certain creativity and provide some new things. New things, fatal four-ways are relatively new, right?
Yeah.
Handicap matches are less new, but they're more common than they used to be.
Yeah.
The handicap matches in the old days was just...
That was something to behold, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was very deliberate. We're going to extract revenge on you kind of
Yeah,
setup.
exactly.
So they're doing some things, and I'm not against them, but for a significant belt or something like that, maybe something more traditional. And
Yes. It's just, I don't like those things, man. It's just like what Ric Flair went in the. I hate, I love Ric Flair, my favorite wrestler, but I hated the way he won the WWF title when he first went up there. The
Battle Royal.
Yeah, man, I did not like that.
Excuse me, the Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble.
So, and see, that's cheap. Like APW, because it's APW, because it's very indie. If they had a Rumble match, a Battle Royal for the belt,
Jeez.
I think it's equivalent to, having me come in last.
Right,
And
right.
I'm just a manager, and I get a shot at the championship.
I mean, and Flair did come out there first, right? I think he lasted 90 minutes or whatever.
He wasn't first. He wasn't first. Second or third.
Yeah, but he lasted a long time and he outlasted everybody. So I mean, that was an accomplishment. But we all knew about his stamina. He always had great stamina.
Yeah.
But man, it's
even though he looked like he was about to fall out in a minute.
It was a cheap way for him to win the match, man. I didn't like for him to win the title, and he was talented. He still had enough left in the tank where they could have got him over in another way of winning the title, but maybe some of them stars up there didn't want to give him the shot to win the title like that because a lot of people didn't want to put Flair over.
He was the NWA guy.
Yeah, they didn't want to put Flair over. So
I just look at don't insult your fans.
Right.
All right. So
yes, that's I agree 100% with you on that, Michael.
So it's got to be. They're already.
Wait a minute.
They're already.
Didn't you just say earlier fans are stupid?
They are stupid, but you don't have to insult them.
That's true.
All right? So fans already are suspending some believability. All right, they're already suspending realism to watch this. Okay, but there are still things that you have to give to them to continue that suspension. All right, so when you have a person that's out there and you hit them once in the chin and then you get to spend 10 minutes and the guy's unconscious, you're like, okay, this flies in the face of anything I can get behind. So you got to give your fans some nuggets to help them continue the suspension of their reality.
Okay, but let's go ahead and finish off this Dragon Lee versus Tracy Williams and Tony Deppen. I'm gonna give the match a C plus, and overall I'm just gonna give the show a C. No, I give it a C plus.
I give it a C.
Yeah. Let me back it up. I'm gonna give it a C.
All right, I give the match a C minus. I'll give the show a C.
Yes.
Yeah, and I give the match a C too.
Yeah, I give the stars of that. I don't know the names of the announcers, but they was the class of the show. So I'm gonna give them a B. I give the announcers a B. They was the class of the show because they talked about everything in detail. They knew their stuff. But it's a shame that they didn't have people to or have any sounds to talk over.
Yeah.
To speak over. But that's pretty much it on ROH. But I wanted to speak a little on APW. We're running out of time, to tell you the truth. We've been at this for a while, but I do want you to go ahead and talk a little bit about APW. I'll chime in a little bit, but
while we got you, don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share.
That's it.
Click like, subscribe, and share,
and the notification bell.
Yep.
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yes.
So APW. So, I'm involved. I manage a faction over at APW. But I'm not going to come to you as the Asian sensation and a manager of the faction. But there's some people that I do want to talk about at APW in a manner of like future potential. All right, so
I thought you were gonna give us some tea, man, some scoop or something, man.
So some of the talent there, I think that has potential, like Luka Daniels.
Okay.
He's up and coming. I've seen over the course of 4 months, I've seen a lot of improvement with him. So he gets around. So he's at APW and he jumps down into Georgia and that kind of stuff, and he's getting his name out there. So he's a guy that people should keep an eye on. Take a look at.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. What I like about APW, the times that I've been there, I'm really surprised at the talent level of the wrestlers that he have there. I mean, they really give it all they got, man, and that they bring it back to an old school style. Chief J Eagle runs it.
A very well known name in the business.
Yes, he's been in the business for a long time. He runs it, and
he fought everybody.
Yes,
and, good Lord, yes.
Yes, and he down in Bowling Springs, South Carolina, man, and he has a good facility, and he's doing the right thing. One thing I really didn't care. I really don't care for too much is when I watch it when I'm there at the show. it's like I'm watching. I hate to bring it back to. It's like I'm watching the AP. I'm watching AEW or I'm watching WWF. Is they following basically a lot of the same storylines, which I don't like, but it depends on how many wrestlers they have there. Because of the indies, these wrestlers are all over the place. But when he has a full slate of wrestlers there, man, it's just action packed all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Oh, yeah.
so we'll get into indie segments, and you'll get some insights, and you'll understand that indies have unique challenges.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
We're competing for wrestlers. Wrestlers sometimes aren't paid. Right? Sometimes they just get gas money to show
yes.
up. So
Hot dog and a handshake.
Yeah.
For those that know,
And-
you know.
and they're just trying to get their name out there. And if there's any people in the film industry that like wrestling, like myself, it's really mirrors the film industry where people are working for free on these independent films just to get a reel, just to add bullets to the resume so that
yes.
they can submit it and hopefully get to be the AT&T girl or something.
Right.
Free plug to AT&T right there.
Christopher, you want to say anything?
Well, yeah,
on this
no,
APW?
Well, I've been around the business for a while and just getting back into it, and being a little long in the tooth, I can't get in the ring like I want to, but I basically am one half of the color commentary team and an in-ring interviewer, and these guys are phenomenal. They really work at their craft. They hone their craft, and some of them, you look at the work in the ring, and you get to know them personally. You're like, oh man, how long you been doing this? Oh, I only made about 6-7 months. What? You're like, dude, you look like you've been doing this at least 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, a lot of those guys down there are well trained, man.
Yeah, they're well trained and they know what they're doing, man.
I mean, I'm really shocked. I was really shocked because I have been to indie shows in the past that you could tell the wrestlers. I mean, they were just you had a lot of novices get in the ring.
So here's where APW has an advantage and a disadvantage. Being in South Carolina requires you to be 18 years old, requires you to pass a physical, requires you to get a license,
Yep.
and all these things cost money. And when you apply, you have to get it notarized. So you're looking at cost of the doctor's visit, cost of the notary, cost of the application. And Georgia and North Carolina are, surroundings. They have no requirements. You could be 15 years old in North Carolina and
Just
get in
jump
the
in
ring.
there and go at
right?
it, yeah.
I didn't know that.
So
Yeah.
when you go to North Carolina and look at these indies and you start comparing it to indies in South Carolina is better, but they're more mature. You don't have 14-year-olds thinking that they're still the Hardy Boys and, wrestling in the backyard with mattresses.
Like I
So,
said, ladies and
yeah,
gentlemen,
we're-
we're live.
Yeah.
Here at all these
I think that's our
taverns.
3-minute warning right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate all these letting us
Use
be
the
out here
facility,
and
yeah.
using their facilities, being out here, being loud, man. And we've been out here speaking on this wrestling, and we've I'm pretty sure we've interrupted a few people,
Oh, yeah.
but nobody has said anything, and they let us do our thing. So we appreciate that, and we appreciate you listening to us. And like always, we would like you to like, subscribe, and share, and hit that.
Notification.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ding, ding.
Let us know what indie programs that you have in your areas that we
Yes.
should take a look at. Because
Yes. Because
we
we
will
want to
cover.
travel and check it out.
Yeah, we will cover the Southeast and Mid-Atlantic regularly, but we need to know what else is out there. Tennessee, California,
Minnesota,
Nevada. I know there's something out there in Fallon, Nevada. Just let me know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we'll
that
go
we
and
can-
check it out.
Yeah. Just let us know. I mean, because like I said, we're just not up here talking about wrestling to you. We want you to talk to us, ask questions, comment, email, whatever. Don't feel shy. If we missed on something that you think is important, let us know. Comment like, hey, y'all should have talked about this. Okay,
Yeah,
well, we're
that's
sorry. And I mean, hey, we make mistakes, but you guys are a part of the show as much as we are. Like I said, we don't want to talk to you. We want to talk with you.
Exactly. And tune in to our upcoming show. Probably air Wednesday. I'm just gonna to be on the safe side, or it could air Tuesday. But we're gonna get together Tuesday, and we're gonna cover Hell in a Cell. And what else are we gonna cover, guys?
We're going to cover SmackDown. We're going to cover Raw. We're going to cover NXT, Hell in a Cell, and then we're going to Tuesday. We're going to actually start our first ever prediction show.
Oh yes. I'm glad you said. See. Let me let y'all in on something. See. Harry is the historian. I'm just the jerk.
He's our New Japan wrestling guy. Don't get. I might be the Asian guy, but he's the one that follows New Japan wrestling.
and Michael King here, he is the analytics of everything. He basically looks at everything with a smart view. He's the educated one of the crew. But hey, it is what it is. But,
between the three of us, we have one full brain.
Exactly.
There you go.
That's it. Okay. We're out. I'm Harry Bernard Taylor with Michael King,
the Asian sensation,
and Christopher Burton,
the People's Podcaster.
We'll see you next time, and we appreciate everything you do.